What's up guys, this video we're going to be ranking 5 of the worst pieces of dating advice that are commonly prescribed to men. Alright, so as I'm sure most of you guys have noticed, a lot of the dating advice, in fact most of the dating advice you see on the internet is really bad. So in this video we're going to be compiling 5 of the worst pieces of dating advice. Let's start out with number 5. Don't try to have sex on the first date. This is something you commonly hear from women and just other people on the internet. They say, oh, well, you don't want to try to have sex on the first date because she'll think you're a fuckboy. You should wait until the third date. So the first date, you go out there, maybe you kiss her. The second date, maybe you get to second base. And the third date is when you finally have sex. The problem is in the dating marketplace we live in now, if you don't make a really strong impression on the first date, chances are you're not going to get a second date, right? So sex is the ultimate form of investment for a woman, right? So if your goal is to have a serious relationship with a girl, even get married to the girl, the best way you can do to make sure that she actually answers your text, that she actually meets up with you again, is having sex with her, because then she is very much invested. It's like her giving you $10,000, right? At that point, you want to see the return on the money. Now, of course, if the girl is not interested in having sex in the first date, you shouldn't be pushy, you should not pressure her, right? Because even if you do fuck her under pressure, you know, one, that is very ethically creepy, and two, you know, it's going to backfire and she's not going to want to hang out with you again, right? But you should absolutely be persistent and make a move. You should absolutely invite the girl to your place, either directly or go out with her to a bar and then pull her back to your place, and you should absolutely try to make a move at least a few times. Now, if the girl's being resistant to it and she's not down, that's fine. You can always meet up with her on the second date. But typically for me, I will almost always have sex with the girl either on the first date or the second date. If I don't sleep with her on the first date, then for the second date, I will invite her straight over my place and offer to cook for her, right? And that's an offer that a girl really typically can't resist. And then, you know, we usually hook up. I've only ever had one situation with a girl that I saw for a period of time where we didn't have sex until the third date, and that was only because she was on her period for the second date. So ignore this piece of advice that you have to wait until the third date, because again, you're going to be outcompeted by the guys that actually do sleep with her on the first date, and then she's going to be more invested in them than you. Number 4. Shirtless photos are douchey. We hear this all the time. Oh, don't do shirtless photos on Tinder. You know, you're gonna come off as douchebag. There's an element of truth to it. Shirtless photos are a little douchey. Some girls will think so. However, they're also extremely effective. So according to the famous OkCupid study, shirtless photos were actually the most effective type of photo, right next to dog photos, right? These were the most effective type of photos according to a real study, right? And this kind of confirms my personal experience. When I started using shirtless photos, maybe I got slightly less matches, you know, maybe like 10% less matches, but the matches were like 5 times more serious about meeting up. Because again, a girl sees a really good body, right? And she's like, okay, well, I want to fuck this guy, right? So it's a really good way to stand out. Now, the caveat is you can only do this if you're actually in good shape, right? So if you have a beer gut or whatever, you have a dad bod, then you can't really do this. But again, trust me, if you're in good shape, having a shirtless photo is going to be like having a bazooka. It's going to be very effective. Number 3. Women like a gentleman, right? You hear this all the time. Oh, women just like a gentleman, right? And again, there's a small element of truth to it. Women do like a guy who, for example, you know, is confident, who, you know, holds the door open, right? There's this old school type of gentleman shit is attractive. But the implication is that you should kind of be a simp, right? You should just hold the door and you should walk around and give her a kiss on the cheek, right? But you're much better off actually being an asshole, right? So if I have a choice, I'm betting money on either a gentleman or an asshole who's going to be more likely to sleep with the girl or even make her his girlfriend. I'm going to bet on the asshole. The magic is actually somewhere in the middle. So when it comes to being an asshole, it's not that women actually like a guy who's mean or who like berates them. They just like all the other factors that assholes typically have. The confidence, the dominantness, the assertiveness, the boundaries, the willingness to go for what you want. So you can combine that with actually being a decent human being, you know, who's willing to just not be a piece of shit, and then you have a very powerful combination. Number 2, happy wife, happy life. You hear this all the time. Oh, just keep your wife happy and everything's gonna be okay. The implication is that you try to please your girl. You should be a people pleaser, right? You should go above and beyond to please your partner or please your girlfriend or just please the girl that you're going on a date with. Again, this is something that's actually the opposite of what you should be doing. Now, of course, you should be a decent human being. You should be communicative and you should occasionally do nice things for her, right? But you also want to have very strong boundaries. That's actually what's attractive. So what you're not doing if you're married or in a relationship is running around trying to please your girl. You're actually being yourself. You're like, hey, listen, this is who I am, this is what I can offer you, and the girls will actually respect that a lot more and be attracted a lot more to a guy who actually has very strong boundaries, right? And who is also a man who is on a purpose and doing his own thing. So if you have a choice, again, if I'm betting money, we have every factor being the same. One situation where, the husband is running around trying to please his wife and just doing everything for her, just giving up his career and staying home for her and just doing everything. The other situation where the guy's on his purpose, he's doing his thing, he's a decent human being, but he's primarily focused on himself and he puts himself first. I guarantee you it's the second one that's going to be way more likely to have a successful relationship, right? So again, if you start putting the woman before you, that is a massive, massive turnoff, and you should never do that. Again, you always come first. She can be second, but you have to be first. And number one, this is probably the cringiest yet the most common piece of dating advice. Just be yourself. You hear this all the time. You guys have seen this when I debate TikTok social justice warriors. They say, oh, I don't know why you need all this dating advice. You should just be yourself, and eventually the right girl will come along. Just be yourself is actually really good advice for someone like me who's actually successful with women. For me, all I have to do is just be myself. If you're naturally attractive to women, like you're the popular guy, you're the Giga Chad, yes, you should just be yourself. But for the vast majority of guys who are not actually getting laid, it is really bad advice because just by being yourself, you've already tried that for a decade and it hasn't been working. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So if you haven't been successful with women and you keep being yourself, you're going to stay not successful with women, right? Again, there's this idea that just eventually the right girl will come along who will see you for who you are. It doesn't really happen. That's when women typically operate the same. Now, of course, they have differences. There's some overarching principles of what they're attracted to, right? So if you're a loser, if you're a guy who lacks confidence, if you're a guy who's not assertive, if you're a people pleaser, if you're her little bitch, again, you're not going to be attractive to any girl, right? So again, that's a losing strategy. So what you should do is basically evolve into someone who's attractive to women. Now, you don't want to put on an act, right? So if you're like, super shy, you don't want to go in there and try to act confident because girls will see right through that. But what you want to do is actually evolve, transform, improve into someone who's a lot more attractive. And you do that by slowly stretching your comfort zone and basically how you express yourself. So for example, you're a very timid guy. So when you go on a date with a girl, just practice being 10% more assertive, right? You're not making massive differences, you're making slow differences, and you're kind of nudging your personality, nudging your self-development into the direction you need to go. And again, the direction you do need to go is a guy who's in good shape, who's assertive, who's confident, who's dominant, who has strong boundaries, who's not afraid to go where he wants, he's ballsy, he knows what's up, and he doesn't give a fuck what people think. So these are all traits you need to work on if you want to be more successful with women. All right, hope you guys found this video valuable. And on this channel, I will always give you guys practical, no bullshit advice that actually works. If you want to see more of that, smash the like button, hit subscribe, click the bell for notification. Check out this video also on how to improve your flirting game, or check out this video that's going to show you the 3 secret tricks to becoming a sexual man that turns women on.